Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to the AstroPub. Spared no expense. How y'all doing? Welcome to the AstroPub. This is your space bar at the end of the universe. Let's get to the bar, shall we? Hi-yo, how y'all doing? Close that off. Pub, finds a way. Exactly, Josh. Thank you again, Darj, for being on the captain's table last night. It was good fun. Bit of a harsh topic, but I think it did well. So I'm going to be on live because I can't be on the freaking PTU. Verify. Everything seems to be crashing constantly for me, so I may have to... This may be a short stream. We'll see. I'll try restarting my computer if all else fails. Because my launcher just keeps straight up crashing when I try to launch anything. Yeah. Let me try restarting my computer. So this may be a very short stream. I may not be able to stream today. Because I've had some weird interactions. I may have to just kind of uninstall Star Citizen and restart it. I was having issues with that on Saturday, and I thought, oh, well, that was just the PTU. So. Am I robot-y right now? Testing. No, I'm fine. Yeah, we always have a little bit, when we first start streaming, we always have a little bit of drop frames, but that should be passed by now. I was replying twice. Let me see if I have double the... Yeah, I do have double. No. Should be fine now. I think I can suggest if it immediately crashes, you hit launch, delete the game exe, not the launcher, and re-verify you have the exe became corrupt in the past. I'll try that. That may have happened because I think I was trying to download the PTU and then I just half dead, half asleep, brain dead. Paul turned off the computer in the middle of it downloading, and I think that caused some corruption to happen. How y'all doing? Is the bot stuttering? It shouldn't be. Let me double check to make sure it's not doubling up. Oh yeah, it is doubling up. Let me... Oh yeah, it is doubling up still. Okay. That's why. It should be better now. Okay, it's not letting me launch, so it should be okay. Hey, Morad, how you doing? Hey, Peruna. No, Renfield? That ended That ended at like midnight last night, so we'll see if I got paid or not. I want to message the folks on Monday or later after the stream, be like, hey, something wasn't working properly. I did my best. I had everything active. It just didn't work properly, I don't think so. Are you also the Astro Historian? Yes, I am, Nomad. Did you not? Yes, I am. Hello, and welcome to the Astro Historian. My name is Paul Shelley, and this is a channel, or how it goes. Hello, my name is Paul Shelley, and welcome to the Astro Historian. This is a series where I look at space, lore of space and sci-fi universes and discuss their impact. Today, we'll be talking about Star Citizen and smuggling. And of course, as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra. I did the thing. Yes, I am the Astro Historian. More school lore. Yeah, that's surprisingly popular.
Sly_5 just resubscribed for 48 months. 07.
Sly, thank you so much for that 48 months of support. You are a very important peer. Very impressed. Very good. Actually, this is your fault. The reason I'm drinking. Chops and cheers and chat. I am very different on these two channels. The reason why I switched I actually used to be on the same channel, but YouTube doesn't like it when you do gameplay and content as well as lore. So, thank you, Sly-Fi. There's some beers for you. Love the content. More. What's ex Historia? From history and ad Astras to the stars. I'm terrible at Latin. I did take Latin. I barely passed it and failed it in many cases. That reminds me, I gotta ask Darsh to do an overlay for the live streams. We're coming up pretty quickly on 20K for the Astro Historian. We're at 1996 or something, I think, something. So like by the end of maybe by the end of this stream, we'll have reached 20K subscribers on the Astro Historian. That was an odd sound. Oh, it's still up. That's why. Thank you for that follow. What will be after 319? They've already said it, 320. They're going to have a 320 patch. My guess is that they originally wanted 319 to be a very specific patch to kind of do all the things they wanted to do on the back end and the front end to kind of clean up PES and get it ready for server meshing. But because of how much of a disaster 318 is in terms of the giant mess that is the launch, they had to instead focus on sure I have my helmet on. I do. Oh, we're good. They instead had to focus on getting the patch more stabilized for 319 while also adding new things.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
So all of the back end stuff they wanted to change for
take away my spaceship. You can take away my space
suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Standard_Deviat just resubscribed for 34 months. Gmon and Paul.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you too there, Standard Deviation. You are a very important pub, very impressive pisser of any bit pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Alright, so it's boosted. Let me see if I can't fix that. Properties. Okay. Man's audio properties. So the way to fix this is going to be a little weird. So give me a moment.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. To the ASOP
I'm going to delete that.
vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been diverted to the following location.
All right. Is that better? Or is it still boosted?
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
What do you think of the solution for PES trash situation? Landing zone look like crap with all the trash around. Kind of meshes with the vibe of the game.
To the ASOP
I mean, it kind of
vehicle retrieval
is what this game's going for. But I do think that they'll have some solution, but it'll be a procedural solution. So they'll have NPCs picking up trash or something like that. I think what this is what's going to happen. Just different compared to the other one. Let me see. I'm going to the bar. It's literally the same input, though. And I'm not seeing really much of any difference. Like, I literally move over and it's the same thing. I'm not hearing any difference whatsoever. I'm not seeing any difference either. Six decibels louder? It's a linked... audio filters. Is that better or worse? There's no filters applied here.
Vehicle selected. Stand by.
You want to say better?
Your vehicle has been delivered
Okay.
to the following location.
I'll swap to here. And this is like the same, exactly the same audio. Like I'm looking at my levels and it doesn't even change.
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Okay. Anyways, I think here's what's going to happen with the trash. CIG is going to implement, say, okay, we're going to have this complicated system where we're going to have an AI janitor, because we already have that system for Squadron 42, so we're going to apply it to Star Citizen, and it's going to go around and pick up garbage with, with animations and all these sorts of things, and we're going to try to make it bespoke. And they're going to go, oh, this is a cool idea, and then they're going to start working on it, and they're going to realize they're going to work on it for a year, and realize it's taking too long. So they're just going to, in a week, come up with a system that'll just delete the trash if it's too much, and and cull the system, and then they won't actually fix they won't add the janitor for another 2 years, and eventually it'll come out. How much more patches are still to 4.0? At least 2. Ray always has a video on the topics. He has videos on everything. That's not a shit on Ray. It's just like Ray is very, very much a theory crafted man. Even though I don't always agree with on him, especially when it comes to the lore stuff. I think he comes at it from a different perspective, which is interesting, but I don't think he really fully understands the concepts of a lot of the lore. Do we still think... Spacey, I haven't thought 4.0 is coming out this year since, I don't know, this time last year? But no, I don't think... I personally haven't thought that 4.0 is coming out this year at all. I haven't thought it was coming out this year since before 3.18 released. I do think that we'll see 4.0 come out into a PTU release. Like Wave 1 PTU, kind of like we saw with 3.18. And I also expect it to come out probably around the same time as 3.18 did, so around March or April of 2024, and to be as bad of a release as 3.18 was.
You are clear to launch.
I really wish I'm wrong, and I probably, if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong in the wrong end. I think I'm more optimistic. But yeah. Hey, Dominic. But like I said, I got a 19K immediately after. Huh. There's a surprise. I picked up trash. Even better. Okay. Let me see the real stats. What are you saying? I wouldn't mess with trying to get in right now. It like there's too many problems that CIG will probably try to be addressing with PTU. If you're really having trouble, see if you can get into the PTU. If you can get into the PTU, fine. Then you should be okay. And just delete your live folder kind of thing. Where are you? Where are you? There you are.
Thank you, and please visit again.
This is owned. I think this is on loan or something like that. I think this is one of those things that I got for having another ship. This is my regular account. To show you the idea. I've been making a lot of money. Doesn't matter, because it's all fun bucks. It's going to be erased in a couple of weeks anyways, but... Getting down the routine and enjoying myself. Who knows? There's really no difference between P2 and live right now. In terms of, like, they're both going to get wiped, yeah. But in terms of, the PTU is currently 318.2. So it's, or is it 318.1? I can't remember which one. But it's the one that's applied with fixes. So if you can log in to the PTU, you'll probably be able to log into PTU if you can't log into live. You can get into PTU, just not the PU. You've tried to get a clean install and deleted the PTU character. Yeah, it's just a mess right now. It's 3.318.2. Okay. So yeah. The answer is they've found the issues with a lot of the problems, and apparently the issues lie with the character. With the characters themselves. Well, no, it's not player number issues. It's the player ID issues. There's something to do with the character, your player character, and like their logging issues or something like that. Which is why they've been doing more internal load testing. Basically, what CIG has admitted, and I think this is important because a lot of people who've been have the narrative that like, hey, including myself, who thought that, you know, it's because CIG couldn't get enough people. The answer is they couldn't get enough people, but they could have actually tested it without the people. They have virtual load testing that could have worked. They chose not to use those virtual load testing, not because it was bad, but it was time consuming. And that's the reason why 318... Where the fuck is the ground? It's like just suddenly showed up. Ugh. Good thing the Cutlass isn't an entire hog. Oh. Yeah, I should probably do the landing gear. I'm worried server meshing will screw it up again again, but do we think it'll be better than 318? I wouldn't count on it being better than 318.
Landing gear down.
There we go.
Engines offline. Landing complete.
Dynamic server mission. How do you think dynamic server mission will abort the game? Well, it'll probably have issues with saving your character persistence. So, for instance, with dynamic server meshing, you will be, or not dynamic server meshing, static server meshing. Static server meshing, which is coming out in with 4.0, will be you will be going from server to server. So anything that can go wrong with the handoff between one server and another will. And I could imagine you getting locked into a purgatory where both servers claim to have authority over your character and they can't agree, so they cancel each other out and you just won't be able to log in. That's good for now. All right, so we can do a Trucia Toxin, which has max inventory. I think Etam was the one that I had the most options with. I'll do Widow, and then I'll do Etam. No, you're cool. The AstroPub. The AstroPub. You can call me Paul, it works. What am I playing? I'm playing Star Citizen, but I mean, I'm playing live. The reason why I'm doing live is because I can't access PTU right now because it's broken for me. I'll try to download it and get back into it here in a minute, but shouldn't PES be responsible to make transitions easier? It should, but again, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a return of issues like 40K issues or other issues like that, where the pass off isn't done properly, and so the replication layer doesn't really know what's going on, and so it freaks out and just corrupts. I also think you'll have issues with pass-offs where you fly, you log out in like one place, and then when you log back in, you're back at to where you originally were on the other server. So you lose all progress that you're working on. Now, some of that stuff should be worked out a little bit when it comes to this, probably when they separate the replication layer from everything else, which my guess would be 320. Because it's not happening in 319 as far as I know, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that happening in 320, which my guess would be either August or September of this year at the earliest, and at the latest it would be post-CitizenCon or right before IAE. My, 320 is going to be anywhere between August and November. My guess is, again, probably a 320 right before CitizenCon, or before CitizenCon, right after CitizenCon, and then IAE would be a 320.1 sort of situation. Will we still get Pyro this year if you're in Wave 1 PTU, I think. But if CIG has changed their wording from Road to Pyro to Road to 4.0. So it could be that CIG entirely abandons the idea of trying to put Pyro in 4.0 and just tries to do server meshing. And I think it'll still take them till March. And then they'll add Pyro in a 4.1 or 4.2 patch, maybe, if they can get it to work. I think there'll be a 321, 322 all on. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I think CIG will I think CIG would rather push out a broken 318 style patch than than continue to push out 3.0x patches. If you think the dynamic server smashing will bork the game, how do you think it will be? Do you think liberating the replication layer will bork the game? For sure. I don't think it'll bork it as much. I don't think we're going to have 318 levels with separation. Well, the issue will mostly be things like, hey, we've entirely, like it does not save your last update. They need to tune it like to make it work better. My hope is, and this is big hopium, not confirmed, no idea if this is true or not, that they'll actually finally like track where you are with 320. So when you log out in, say, space, even if you're not in a bed and you log back in, you will still be in that location with all of your cargo. You won't just end up back on your wherever you were. So a 30K doesn't reset you to where you were the last station you were at. It'll just bring you back to where you dropped. Kind of like how the crash systems work now, where you can like figure out where you last were. I believe we'll have Pyro before we have server meshing. I don't know. I think we may have server meshing before we have Pyro. Though that is still a possibility, because CIG has specifically said that 4.0 was when they added Pyro to the game. I have to go back and look at it, but it was back when people were wondering when the fuck they're going to have 4.0 and what is 4.0 going to represent. And I believe... because it was back when 3.10 dropped, the 3.9 dropped. They said, well, the next is 4.0, so we're just going to have 4.0 now, right? And Xylo came on and said, no, 4.0, our X.X patches for Alpha are supposed to be big keynote events. So it will be when we have, I can't remember if he said server meshing and Pyro, or server meshing or Pyro or server meshing. There was some specific statement he made. In fact, when I get here, I'll look it up and I'll see specifically. Why have beds then? CIG's already it already works, or had worked at some point in 318, which is beds will allow for your ship to despawn if no one's around you. So if you're in your bed and you climb into your bed, then the ship itself will despawn if there's nobody around you. So it's not persistent. But if you just hang out, your ship will remain where it is and be vulnerable to attacks by any passing NPCs or players. Yeah, bed logging works, but the issue isn't bed logging. The issue is persistence after a 30K. Because that's a huge deal. It means that 30Ks are no longer a major issue. Period. They're just dead. They're just a minor inconvenience when a server goes down. There's no need for 4.0 if there's not enough features. I agree. But at the same time, CIG is definitely not immune to... Oof. Immune to pressures of looking like they've completed something, you know, like being looking like they're making progress. Yes, that is their current goal, is to add server meshings to add additional star systems. But Jin, do you remember the last update they gave us on server meshing? There was a quote that one of the developers specifically said, which was that they were trying to remove the aspects of server meshing and the jump points themselves, that they are two separate issues, which heavily implied that you could do jump point, or you could do different systems without server meshing. Oh, this is Nunya? That's where this is? Okay. Yeah, 700K. This is in the Microtech system. It's a location. It's a named location, so you can actually go to it. I hate this fucking wind. No. It may mean that there is some sort of system in place where if you pick where you spawned and then you could go back and forth, but you would eventually had like a load screen, or you would have the jump points would be in and transfer you from one server to another, but it wouldn't be meshed. It would just be a handoff situation where you're passed from one to another, but you don't see server meshing like you do, which you will with the systems, where like each section of a system will be its own server to allow for higher population numbers. Yeah, it's kind of like Brio's near Crusader, but it's in Microtech. All of the systems have one of these things. Crusader has one, Hurston has one, and ArcCorp, I think, has one. The salvage centers. I think in the future, these will be the places where you sell illegal scrap that you gather as well. So if things are too hot at Brio's, even though it's a far distance, you can always travel to like Hurston, which has its own, which is Reclamation and Disposal Orinth. You can go there. Meant by that, they're looking at separating Pyro and some sort of jump point tech from server meshing temporarily in order to get it out there. Which is why I think we'll have Pyro before server meshing. Yeah, because I think, at least from the perspective, what they were saying was a jump point is different from server meshing. A jump point is not the same concept as meshing servers in a system. It's just a handoff between two systems. So if you can get the handoff to work, that's fine. And that's separate from having to hand off, it's part of the same system in the sense that you have the handoff in meshed servers. But a meshed server isn't, you don't need a mesh server to have another system as long as you have that handoff tech. I think that was the purpose of it. But that, again, implies that it's a dead Connie. That implies that that you do not need server meshing for another system, another planet. Client peak, silo. It's got to be on the other side of the planet. Did CIG ever mention if Bud's Growery, Bountiful, and Celeste loot tables were intentional? I mean, I guess they were. Just off there, hydroponic farms where you can find railgun, P6, animus launcher, and or grenade launcher. It's just odd. They're also where you can find illegal goods being produced. The first steps of all drug manufacturing is produced at these independent family farms, which kind of implies that they're not so independent family farm, if you get what I mean. I think the distinction between dynamic meshing and just plain server meshing. Maybe. I really think the main question is, can you hand off a player from one DGS to another DGS? That is a separate problem from, can you turn a system into multiple DGSs? I think that's a completely different issue, and I think that's what they were saying. The handoff portion is important because you still need that for the rest of the stuff, but it's not the same. Hey, Rhino. But again, that begs the question then, CIG, why couldn't you put out Pyro earlier if you didn't need server meshing for Pyro? That would require a full explanation from the CIG's team, because that would be a big, so you've just been fucking with us this entire time. Server meshing is, in this context would need a lot more hi-fi, and that would need to handle everything a ship can do, and have both server track all that and handoff jump point. And a handoff and a jump point is likely need to track. Yes, because a handoff and a jump point, you're not going to necessarily be fighting. You're not going to be. There's like a lot less that is going on in a ship in that handoff versus. You know, where a ship could literally just be on the edge of that server, that dynamic boundary or that static boundary, and bounce back and forth a bunch of times to fuck with like people catching it and stuff like that. Slow it down. This is the last time I did this. I ended up nearly crashing. We may need to see server meshing before Pyro, and they do each planet per server. There's a lot of questions still up in the air. Yeah, they said that, Ionic, they said that at 10 minutes specifically, they said there are two separate issues. In short, they don't want to jump to be a mere loading screen scenario. Correct. That's always been the case. And I think the honest-to-God truth is that CIG wants... couldn't even do the handoff until PES was implemented, and that is a different problem versus server meshing itself. And this is an example of how CIG produces things. They have ideas, they have documents they write down, but once they get all of the pieces in place, they start to look at what they've written down to see if it will actually work or not. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going into server meshing that they knew they would need to, like making everything able to be handed off from one DGS to another. You know, there's a lot of prep work for the actual meshing. And then when you build the tools that allows for this all to happen, that's where you start to go, okay, does this actually work? How do we make it work in principle? That's what happened with why they switched from... what was the tool? The thing that was that PES replaced. That issue was not functioning. iCache, yes. The reason because they started they got all this everything in place for iCache, and when they realized it wasn't going to work, they had to basically abandon it. All right, let's see what they got here. No new loot boxes, so it looks like we are clear of loot for now. Oh, nope, we got the... Oh, nope, and I can't access it. Alright, so we're going to do... It's 0 SCU, 8 SCU, confirm... There we go. That should be fine. This is Outpost 54. Again, I'm going to be making a smuggling video for maybe not like 318 specifically, but for the 318 branch in general. And I'm going to be breaking down all of the routes you can take and the alternative routes, because it's very dangerous to... smuggling has become very dangerous because you're definitely a target of pirates now. Hello, I heard you're good in Star Citizen lore. I'm translating slowly to my language and found that lore is quite unorganized. It is incredibly unorganized. I would check out the Galactopedia and the Star Citizen wiki, the starcitizen.tools wiki. Those two places have the best sources for just getting stuff that they have stuff that you've written down, you can just kind of translate it. And the wiki, the tools wiki has a timeline, which hasn't been updated in a while, but it has that. But yeah, it is incredibly disorganized.
Engines online.
By the way, that was also the concern with quantum travel, that player used use the time to do stuff with their ships, not merely sitting between the ships between A and B. And yeah. No problem. You can also look at my videos, youtube.com/TheAstroHistorian. If you want to check those out, you feel free to directly use those and translate them if you want. People have asked me if they could translate those videos into their own native languages and publish them. Yeah, that's fine. It's great. If you're willing to, if you want to like translate subtitles, I'll slap those onto my this thing as well. So. Are the UE metals and alien artifacts at derelict outposts still bugged? As far as I know, yes. But the thing, Renamon, is you got to remember is Renmion? I just say Renamon. That's wrong though. Rhea. I'll just say Rhea. That works. Rhea. The thing is that there are also going to be things like engineering and maintenance that you'll be able to do while you're traveling. Plus, there'll also be things like looking up news and events, as well as prices, commodity prices in different areas, and that sort of thing. In fact, my wife vacuumed. That's my bad on that. You can try. I'd still look for them. I'll make another bug report for them because I haven't been able to get access to 3.18.2. So I would suggest going to the outposts if you can and see if you can find them in 3.18.2. And if you can't, I'd post another bug report. Because they're not even like either the loot tables are just super rare, or it's still bugged, and I think it's still bugged because Raymond or Raymond. Oh, Raymond. Okay, that makes sense. Ramon. Okay, Ramon. Hey, Morgath. Well, I managed to sprain my ankle over Easter holiday. Worst part is going to be seriously resting my foot and leg. I fidget and even get up and walk around, trying to watch around when watching a stream or a movie. Keep my attention so I don't mess things up and slow my recovery. I'll do my best, Jaded. I'll do my best. Do you think earbud earphones are better overall for the ear? Personal opinion question. I don't know. The only reason why I use my earbuds over like actual headphones is because the headphones don't allow me to put the helmet on. That's the only reason why I have these on like this. Though I know that a lot of musicians use earbuds. Maybe it's because it helps cancel the noise out a little bit better. You're welcome, Darsh. What's going on? Musicians use IEM in-ear monitors. They're earbud style, but usually molded specifically at a person's ear shape for maximum isolation. Yeah. Oh, you turn off the... I do my best to try to remember to do that.
Landing complete. Engines offline.
I know what you're saying, though, Jaded. It's like when you sprain something really badly, but you don't break it, you can still walk on it and it still feels all right, but at the same time... It's a pain in the ass because the more you walk on it, the more it hurts. Negative 75 degrees Celsius. It's cold as fuck, yo. This damn storm's coming up again. Ah! Booty. So the key takeaways from the server meshing summit at 5:54 and 7:25, Benoit explicitly states that the main objective is to bring the second star system online, not server meshing. Bringing the second star system online, then at 10, Roger Godfrey says that they're separating the jump gates and Pyro into their own problems to tackle. I think this is where we could think that Pyro come before server meshing, but there isn't anything concrete stated otherwise. Yeah, we definitely need more information. Because I think CIG is likely going to do what they did with 318, which is realize they've bit off way more than they can chew. And in order to really do things they want to do, they're going to have to break it up into separate problems and then tackle those problems individually. So remember, 318 was supposed to have was supposed to have PES, which would, in theory include, the death of 30Ks and a bunch of other things that would allow to happen. And then CIG way backtracked within a couple of months of right before it was supposed to release. And it said, no, it's just going to be what we have in 317, but with a new system, and then we'll add new systems as we go forward, and some new stuff will be added already. So I think that's what we're going to see with 4.0. CIG is going to be talking about, we're going to add Pyro and, server meshing. And then as we get closer to the end of the year, the top of server meshing is going to drop out entirely, and it's just going to be focusing on Pyro. And then sometime in September, they'll admit that they can't do server meshing yet. They're going to be focusing on that, so they're not going to increase player cap levels until after server meshing, and server meshing itself is going to end up being a static meshing 0, static meshing 1, static meshing 2, and then dynamic meshing over and over again. Because CIG is always overzealous with their estimations. Yes, and we know that they've been working on the separating the deprecation letter from the DGS because they've been mentioning it for months. They mentioned it before in the actual letter to the chairman from the chairman in December. Chris mentioned that was the next step, so they knew that already when they went into that meeting, and they seemed to at least imply that was the goal for a 320 or a 319 patch. Do I feel like they've started on Nyx? Of course they've started on Nyx. We know they've started on Nyx because they've started expanding the lore behind Nyx. That usually indicates that they've already started to build out new ideas or missions or locations, and then they've asked the lore team to craft a reason for those things to exist. So chat, just to keep you on heads up, 800,000. I only started with 200,000 UEC. And a cutlass, which is, kind of a big thing. But this is only my second session with this character.
I like money.
Them storms, basically hurricane season all the time. Well, in theory, because of the lower gravity and because of the lower air pressure, they shouldn't be able to bump you around like they're doing. Yeah. Yeah, Bud's Grower is pretty bad. It wouldn't be so bad if they had more visual indicators, like clouds. Clouds are a big thing for me. If they could get clouds to function properly and blow, and you can see like darkening skies, and you can see more elements, you know, that transition between ship to on foot, then it would make a little bit more sense. But they're just lacking a couple more visual elements as well as auditory elements to kind of really indicate like, hey, there's a fucking windstorm outside. Dust blowing past. They do that a little bit, but it's not nearly enough, I don't think. You have to do it to a degree that is unrealistic, because there's a lot of subtle aspects of the wind that we usually see for ourselves, that we can feel the fucking wind. So you can like see things moving and feel it on your skin, or even feel it kind of hitting you when you're, you know, behind a door and stuff like that. You can still feel it come through. You don't really have that with games. You don't have the tactile feeling. So you have to amp up all the rest of the feelings to make it kind of overcompensate. So you're like, oh, there's a fucking windstorm coming through. There's that boost 54. You mean you want weather? Of course I want weather. I want it to be raining in Area 18. I want snowstorms to happen across Microtech. I want tornadoes and hurricanes and all kinds of weather you can give me. Give it to me. Because that's going to also make it so that you can't just fly everywhere all the time. You know? Oh, good. You're flying your spaceship through a fucking hurricane. Yeah, you're gonna die. I mean, Lorville itself would also be a great, like, rainy location. Constantly smoggy, acid rain, little puddles building up. Lower gravity would mean more force. Lower pressure would mean less force. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's less pressure on these worlds than these moons that shouldn't be pushing you around like that. Korean gamer, I think most people would just laugh at that point. Like, they had this ridiculous weather and I lost my ship. I think honestly most people would be like, bro, it's a fucking hurricane. You could see it from orbit. Why did you fly into a hurricane? And then get mad that you lost your ship in a hurricane? Hey, Gerbo, how you doing? Yeah, even the author who wrote the because that's actually pulled directly from the book. Even the author who wrote the book was like, yeah, that was intentionally unrealistic because I needed to have something that would cause this, and this was the best inciting incident I could think of that would make sense as to why everything was still around. Most of The Martian is fairly accurate, though, other than that. The Star Citizen isn't going to shield you from the consequences of your actions, yeah. I want to hug a hurricane, but it will sneak on. But I will sneak on and use the other ships for it. Hey, Grockies, how you doing, buddy? Hogs. I agree though, Raymond, that we need actual like clouds on those areas. But I think you could at that point do both. Though CIG has said that they're not really focusing on ArcCorp at this point. Just like, sad. All right. I think we've entirely tapped out this whole process. This is what I mean by, like... When did you send that, Darsh? Because I just got... Okay, yeah. This is what I mean by you don't really need anything more than a 315p. Because if everyone's using it, like I'm doing this, it starts to slow down the uptake significantly. And now I've only used, look at that. It's not showing. See if I can't get it to show. 12 SCU. Gee willikers. It's almost like 12 SCU is the perfect amount of space for you to be trading and making money when you're doing, you know, smuggling in a consistent basis like this. Like, this is okay. The Cutlass Black is probably the biggest medium ship, or the biggest ship I'd use for smuggling, because it has other benefits. But the reality is that the perfect smuggler is the 315p. It's fast, it's maneuverable, it's small, it has just enough cargo to get you by, and it has a large fuel tank in comparison to the other ships it has.
Engines online.
I didn't even get to fly it. I just called into the pad and the wind blew it away. It went rolling over the hill. Why did you call it in a freaking tornado? In a freaking hurricane? I can't wait till you can manufacture drugs. I mean, penny boxes. Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to go play another space game, Paul. You should stream it on 2. It's fun. Yeah, I'm planning on doing it. Everspace 2. I actually found my old early access copy because I'm number, like, 1,000? No. I'm like number 300 backer for Everspace 2. Again, my name's probably in the credits of Everspace 2 because I'm one of the original Kickstarters for it, so... I had to go pull that out because I hadn't played it since... I hadn't even downloaded it since it came out. Welcome to the dark side. I've been here for like years. You merely adopted the dark side. If they can make the trees on Microtech more dense and fluffy, they can double the size of Lorville. If they can double the size of Lorville and get more dust and pollution, they can bring clouds to ArcCorp easily. There was, if I remember correctly, there was something about the generation technology they use for ArcCorp, which is bespoke and isn't tied into the systems they use for the other planets. And so, in order to rework a bunch of ArcCorp stuff, they have to completely rework the planet, completely regenerate the planet with the new technologies they have, which is time-consuming. One of the things they did do was move the buildings over from the old tech to new tech. So a lot of the buildings are now the new building tech that they were using for Lorville and other places. Yeah, I probably never did Stinkfinger. The thing is that one of my biggest videos on my old channel was literally the biggest video, almost 100,000 views, was a smuggler's guide to the galaxy. I used to do these every patch, and then CIG literally killed, just murdered, executed smuggling from being a viable option until this patch when they brought it back. Smugglers own the crime if you're caught. I'm not a smuggler. I am an entrepreneur. I'm finding the needs in a market that exists and fulfilling those needs.
Landing gear down.
Yeah, pretty much until now. And smuggling has had a bad reputation because you could make a fuck ton of money using the glitch, the exploit that happened in 3.18. And then they've removed that exploit, so hopefully in 3.18.1 and 3.18.2, we will see...
Landing complete.
should be fine. We'll see less people trying to participate in it for just like super boosty means. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I haven't tested if the MSR is working. I'll probably have to do that before I do my intro to smuggling videos. I don't know if I made much money on that run. So, let's see how much. Altrucia toxin is 5.6 per unit. ETAM is 11.22k. Yes, gasping weevil eggs is pretty good. Neon is 9k. And Widow is 13.2. 13.02. Okay, so I have those down. Now to head back to don't use exploits, people. Find them, yes. Report them, yes. But do not use them. They are bad for the game. You can use them for the game, but you just note that, like, just like wipes are going to happen. You're going to get wiped, and when you get wiped, you're going to lose everything, and all of those exploits won't really matter in the long run. I find that people who use, like, who are over-reliant on exploits or the meta tend to be worse players than players who try to play the game the way it's designed to, because then they're a lot more, there's a lot less of a sticker shock, or a lot less of a sudden shock in terms of what you have to do in order to to play the game when you actually are playing it properly. Now we're back on. Hey, Solomon. It did make pirating very profitable. I would like CIG to have commodity alerts for something that replicates the exploit amounts which you could buy to make for great gameplay. That's a plan in the long term, I think. And I do think you could still make a lot of money doing normal routes. Like, you still make a shit ton of money for things like mining and such. And CIG did say that they're trying to make it so that saddlebags are detachable in 319, which would mean that you could detach saddlebags, attach them to cargo bays, and then go sell them on their own. That's massive. Yeah, that's huge. That'll make pirating more profitable. It'll allow for group mining efforts to function better. So. Honestly, yes. CIG mentioned that. They can't confirm. They haven't confirmed that they have made it, or it is going to be in 319, but it's a goal that they want to do. They want to try to make it so that you can detach saddlebags in 319. Because a lot of the stuff they're doing with gravity, with tractor beams, is also what they want to. Like, I think 319's goal, which is hard to tell if it'll make it or not, is to have tractor beams functioning. Ship tractor beams functioning in some way, shape, or form, but we don't know because we're coming up on a hard cutoff date for tractor beams functioning. I think it'll be tied to do tractor beams function for ship tractor beams, like ship-based tractor beams. Head back and chill at a station for now. Zone 3. It was great player interaction, much like the Origins of Jumptown. Yeah, and as just like the Origins of Jumptown, I hope CIG learns the right lessons from it, which wasn't like, hey, this is terrible, but more of a, hey. This is, we need to figure out how to do this in the long run. What about ships like the Nomad? I think the Cuddy Black has one, the tractor beam emitters, I mean. Yes, the Nomad has one, the Cuddy Black has one, the 315P has one, the Taurus has one. I'd love to see some Touchcomas, but we're not going to see Touchcomas soon, I don't think. Oh, you're talking about the... Oh, shit. What the fuck's locking onto me?
Hello. Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Right there. Pinkley is the actual manufacturer of the Taurus? No, it's the RSI. It's RSI. What? I don't keep up with stuff on my own as much, but are there still anything on when the Starfarers refinery is going to come online? No. Last we heard that they're starting to work on the refinery process, like just now. That usually, generally speaking, when the gameplay teams and the PU teams start working. Fuck. I don't got anything on me, cops.
Please come to an immediate halt and hold for your vessel to be scanned.
I got nothing.
Drugs.
No drugs. Not on me. Sold them all.
Okay, thanks. You're clear to proceed.
Fuck off. This is discrimination. This is profiling. God damn it.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Engines offline.
Get out and back in. I hate it when I'm like doing bounty hunter shit and they scan me. It's like, motherfucker, you pay me to do shit. The fuck are you scanning me for? For right now. I'll try to store it and unstow it. That's probably help. Refinery will not be hard. They already have refineries on Stanton, and PS is kind of working, which need to direct ores to be replaced. Well, the other thing that is really important is the gameplay, because like the actual process isn't that difficult, but fucking, you know, no one wants to sit there for 4 hours refining, like watching a timer tick down. There's got to be some sort of interactive process of refinery for player gameplay, as well as it has to be faster because players are doing it in some way, shape, or form. Happy Easter to you too, Mr. Tim. Let's store this bad boy.
Please visit us again. Goodbye. Please visit us again.
Alright, I forget what I'm doing here. Oh, right. I was going to look up some stuff real quick. I'll be right back before that, though. Chat, don't go anywhere. I'll see you here in a few moments.
Weapons free, y'all.
Drugs.
2 months. Distress remaining.
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Drugs.
Hello, I like money.
All right. What are we talking about? I think we need Q ships and Star Citizen, ships that look like one thing, but are actually something else. Ships that can have false readings and scammed and do what they actually do. We do. It's called the Freelancer Miss. But yeah. And yeah, adding ways to spoof your signature is definitely going to be a thing in Star Citizen.
Welcome retrieval system. To the ASOP Welcome retrieval system. To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Your insurance claim has been sent.
Let's see. No, I don't have the 315p.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following locations.
I can almost afford it.
Please visit us
Hangar
again.
3. Let's see what the chatter is about. No one's really talking about anything. Okay. I was talking about refining. Yes. You need actual, like, honest to God, a gameplay system. But let's see. I'll free you from the auto mod. Big ass is what it was. There we go. The other thing you can do as well is, we can already see that a little bit, where if you have smaller escort ships, if they fly tightly packed with the larger ship, if you manage to like find a large cargo ship, you may not notice that there is a bunch of smaller fighters that are stuck around it. So you go, oh, this is going to be easy, and you get closer, you're like, fuck, not going to be easy. But again, there needs to be actual value in escorts so you can make some money.
Launch complete.
Didn't they move or completely remove the hidden terminal for selling illegal goods at the space station I used to sell at? No, it should still be there. It's just harder to find. It's still there. Yeah, it's like Hurl 2, I think, or Hurl 4. It was one of the Hurston Lagrange points. It was the further out Hurston Lagrange point. It could have also been a crew Lagrange point. Let me look. Crew 5, that's what it is. This one right here.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Crew 5 is the one that has it. It's still there. All right, before we go out and do some stuff, I'm going to look up something because I wanted to see specifically what Xylo had said about the plans, because he said it on Spectrum. This real quick. What the heck? Is that a player or an NPC? Nope, it's an NPC. That's a dead NPC. You're not seeing it. No, it was mentions to server meshing because I wanted to see, because I remember him making a statement when there was a debate about whether we would see a 310 or a 3 or 4.0. He said something to the effect of 4.0 is reserved for Pyro or server meshing or both, or in like one or the other. I can't remember exactly what. No, we were talking about it earlier, about how CIG seems to be already in the process of separating server meshing and Pyro from one another. Mostly the reason why I wanted to do that is just to more like accurately understand what CIG's initial expectations were. Because there's definitely a situation where players will extract more information from a CIG's posts than CIG actually said. Yeah, it happens all the time. I've been guilty of it in the past too, so I know. Well, it's always important to recognize CIG weasel words, because there are definitely ways that CIG tries to say something and never commit to it, and it's intentional because CIG wants to make sure that people are informed. They also want to make sure people are excited, but at the same time, they don't want to overcommit to something that they have no idea if they can actually do it or not until they actually start doing it. So there's a lot of we plan to and possibly and those sorts of things added to it. But I'm not seeing anything on Spectrum from Xylo about it. For now.
Landing complete.
Engines off.
Engines offline.
You just accept that you won't be playing much until Invictus? I'll be playing if CIG is doing Xenothreat again and stuff like that to try to get people to play. That'll be fun to play it with the new tech implemented. Because that's what CIG seems to want to do. Though again, they want to do it for 3.18.2. So I think at least CIG, and again, because CIG hasn't committed to this, I think CIG may be planning to release 3.18.1 next week and then 3.18.2 the week after. But that's a big may, and they haven't committed to that at all. So. Oh shit, my stuff is still here? This is stuff I pulled out like a while ago and it's still here. Thank you, PES. This This is the same server I've been on in the past, then. Nice. Nothing really of value. I'm good with everything, so... Also PC in game when? I mean, right? Is it stored across servers? Okay, we're going to do Widow. Alright, so let me look at the transactions. Ultratoxin is 4,005.6. So it's about... Let me do some of the math real quick. So the profit is about 1,000 per unit. With Widow, it's... Yeah, it's got a pretty low volume. No. That's a little... Oh, that's a 1.5 per unit. Neon is 2,000 per unit. Holy shit. And ETAM is 2,000. Holy crap. So, this. So it's 2,029 for ETAM. And for Neon, it's... straight up 2,000. So ETAM, it goes ETAM, Neon, Widow, and then Ultratoxin. Like, Ultratoxin does not give you as much money overhead as possible, at least for this run. So we're doing that. And they speed up faster. No. ETAM is over 2,000. Neon is over 2,000, and Widow is 1.5 thousand per unit. You were talking about the stuff that he had stored in place local. Well, some stuff is obviously connected to your character for like long-term persistence, but not every location, as far as I understand, is connected to the same replication layer, which allows you to save between shards. Slam is the best, but the only place you can buy Slam is at Jumptown. No, not necessarily the higher the price. The ETAM is, or like Widow is 7,000 and it makes you 2,000. ETAM is 11,000, or it was like 13,000 makes you 11, but Widow was more expensive. It in fact goes ETAM, Neon, Widow, and then Ultratoxin. Ultratoxin is the cheapest, but Neon is cheaper than Widow and it still makes you more money. It's just people sleep on ETAM and Widow. They always, or ETAM and Neon. They always sleep on ETAM and Neon. because it's not the most money you can make, but it's still better money, and it regenerates faster than Slam. Now, I was looking at local inventory. I didn't know that local inventory in stations is transferred between shards. I'm playing EPU right now, Darth. Like miners who only go after quant? Kind of, yeah. But at least in this situation, like, there's higher volumes of neon emitam faster than there is with ultratoxin. Well, not ultratoxin, but then with Widow. Widow's not bad, but it's a very high priced product that doesn't give you nearly as much profit. Because right now I'm looking at probably a profit of maybe 100,000 out of this, maybe just slightly less than 100,000. Yeah, stations for sure, but I didn't know if the outpost local inventory is the same. Because that would make it a lot easier to go return back to an outpost that you forgot to drain the local inventory. And then put that back in. You can get it at the orphanage? I'll have to take a look at that. The problem is that the orphanage hasn't fucking worked in 3.18. It may work in 3.18.1.2, but it's broken in 3.18. You can't buy from the console anymore. And private property's on selling. So. Super fucking dark. I can't see shit. Okay, there we go. See the lights. Plenty of space.
Landing complete. Engines offline.
I haven't been able to find the most updated trade tools locations, like the where you can find them, because all the tool sites, like the APIs that I've been going to, they don't say shit, or they're all broken. They're really out of date. So I'm now at like 8 something. This is definitely going to be over 9 now. Eight 6. 8.5, 9.5. There we go. I need to make another maybe 2 runs of this, and then I'll head over to buy the 315p. Just for now. There we go. I mean, I'm both looking forward to and not looking forward to ship tractors and like further cargo renovations, because it means I'm gonna have to actually fucking drop off the cargo in a location at these places instead of just buying it and selling it. It's not that it's physicalized, but the loading and unloading times are gonna be a pain in the ass. They're gonna also be incredibly stressful when you're doing like stuff like this, where you can be attacked at any moment from a hostile. Hey, it's a nice stick finger. I don't know if they fixed the coffee machine, but 315p is in my opinion the best the 300 series, hands down right now, because it has more cargo than the Titan. It's faster than the Titan. It may not have as many guns as the Titan, but it's pretty decent. And it's just nicer than the Titan. So it's a better ship for commerce and trading than the Titan is. It's an upgrade, and at least with smuggling, you don't need more than 12 units of SCU. There's no ship in its size range that has more cargo. Yeah, the whole A, but the whole A isn't fast. .135C is fine, but it still only has like 6 SCU of cargo. 6 or 8. And it's about the same price. Let me look it up real quick. The 135C is only like 43,000 UEC cheaper than the 315p. It's not worth that 43,000 is definitely worth the difference, I would say. There's 54. It probably will. I mean, all the ships will get a price hike at some point, but the 315p is just the best efficient ship. Both, it costs, like, to pledge, it's $65, so it's not bad as an upgrade from a starter package, and in game it's pretty cheap. So. Well, the reality is that all the ships will go up. Even the package price will go up. I would say maybe not 4.0, but around 4.0, we're going to see a price hike from $45 to like $50 or $55 for the game package. And then we'll see a price hike even further when the game reaches beta to a $60 price tag for the game. So when you're buying a game package for $60, I don't think they're going to increase or decrease the prices for like the 600 or the 100s and the cutter, all that kind of stuff. They're just going to lump them all together into like one package where you can choose the options between them when they reach that sort of stage. I also imagine that some of these drug smuggling outposts will start to change over to frontier outposts in the near future. So we'll see like almost all of them switch over to a new style or a different style. I don't think Jumptown will, because Jumptown is so iconic. Hey, Frog Boy. That's going to be my next video. I thought I was going to do a video on a ship, but there's not really many ships I haven't done that I would really want to kind of go in depth on that I think people would want to watch. So the next lore video is actually going to be on the dark secret of Stanton. The likely genocide that happened in order to claim Stanton as its own. The UE to claim Stanton as its own. See, look at that. I just came back and it's already got 17 units of ETAM ready to go. How quickly that thing pops back up. Yeah, I don't even have a full stock with this one. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to kind of talk about the background of Stanton, what happened. I'm going to talk about the Flysa incident as well. And gonna like frame it as a mystery and the story that CIG is telling without telling us explicitly what's going on, with references and different things like that. So it'll be a little bit more of a, I hope, engaging kind of video. It's a little bit more speculative because it's not fully explicitly stated, but the mentions of evicting people who had been living in the system for possibly some time with a fucking Bengal carrier. That's not a subtle reference. You don't bring in a Bengal carrier to like, you know, evict a few people. You bring in a Bengal carrier if you're going to, like, you don't bring in a carrier group to a place where you want people to leave. You bring a carrier group in to where you tell them to leave or else. Well, Grimhex was there after the UE. Like, the UE took it over, and then they built Grimhex as an allowance for asteroid miners to get in there. But yeah. It's probably smugglers or people hiding from the UEE for reasons, for sure. But it explicitly says that it was people who were leaving the UEE, some outlaws and some pirates and that sort of thing. But it was a lot of people who were not in the UEE's sphere of influence, and they had found the system and they were living there beforehand, and the UEE came in and said, "Get the fuck out." Like they had found that system before, had already been living in the Stanton system before the UEE showed up, and the UEE just basically said, "Get the fuck out or we'll kill you." Like, they conquered the system. They didn't like they evicted people who had been there for before, had been like claiming it was legally theirs. It's like, okay. No, it was built around after the UE had already showed up. But it was an exception rather than the rule, exception to the rules. And then the Flysa was an example of them trying to scare away miners in Daymar. Yep, Manifest Destiny. And this is not the Mezzer era that this was done. This was done after the Mezzer era. And it's important to note that at the time, nobody gave a fuck. It's not like there was a popular movement to take Stanton because it was very important to the people. No, the reason why it was controlled was because it had a new, faster travel routes between Earth and Sol. That's all. So it was taken at the behest of corporations and corporate interests. So yeah, it's pretty fucking dark when you start reading between the lines about, like, even the Stanton system's existence. Not to mention the fact that the Stanton system is entirely owned by corporate entities who, while still having to obey UEE common law, you know, they can just ignore it. They do all the time. Yeah, exactly. When they realized nobody gave a shit, they had to sell the planets to corporate entities. Yeah, so around the same time the platforms of Stanton 2 were built. Yeah, so that's what the video is going to be about. It may be a little shorter. I'm definitely going to try to capture some B-roll for it and try to make it look pretty and such. I mean, guessing there will be other private systems under UE jurisdiction in the future. I mean, it wasn't the first private system under UE control. That honor goes to the Nexus system, which, yeah, that didn't end up well either.
Landing gear down. Landing complete. Engines offline.
Crossroads of crime. Yep. Going the other way, the UE could have bought them off, wrote a big ass check. They could have, but I don't know how many checks require the entirety of a Bengal battle fleet. You don't need to have a literal carrier fleet show up to pay off a bunch of people to leave. Yeah, exactly. You would have needed like a couple of like a small group of UE Marines and some advocacy escorting a diplomat. That's all you'd need. You would need a Bengal carrier to do this process. Or even just some advocacy agents, you know. Somebody from the interior, the Department of the Interior, you know, or the Department of Colonization, which also is a thing, or colonial interests. All right, take a look. Over 1 million, baby. Yeah, but you wouldn't have needed that. That's a lot of money because the cost to send a Bengal carrier to a location is very high. It's relatively cheap in comparison to like dispatching the army, but there are other means that you could dispatch the dispatch these folks. I do want to, yeah. I want the bunkers to be accessible and stuff. This is PU. The other thing to take into account, why are there derelict outposts? Why are all the outposts that we see from the original settlers of Stanton, why are they all destroyed? If they just paid them to leave, they should be, you know, there, but maybe in a disheveled state. No, they're completely destroyed. Like something just beat the shit out of them. Like they got hit by a... Watermelon.
Rubensaurus just had a space baby.
Thank you much for that, Rubensaurus, for that 9 months of support. 9 months ago, you did the one thing you should never do with a Twitch streamer. You subscribe. Now, 9 months later, our Twitch baby is born. What shall we name it before I discard it? Because I'm a terrible, terrible Twitch father. Thank you so much, Rubensaurus. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. What are we going to call the baby? That's up to you. It's up to you.
Engines online.
But yeah, like, so there's a lot of contextual clues that seem to indicate that, yeah, the removal of the original settlers of Stanton was not a peaceful endeavor. Named the baby group Berserker. Hey, why not? How you doing? They also use stuff like acryloplex. Yeah, they don't just run on hydrogen swan. They just run that stuff. Hey! Oh, thank you so much, Red Monster, for that raid. Welcome, everyone, from Red Monster Stream. My name is Paul Berserker01, Batman Shell, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub. Your space bar's in Twitch. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? Damn commercials. Why are you hitting a commercial? There shouldn't be no pre-rolls there, 10. Credit goes to Expat, who was great co-streamer today. Oh, Expat, hey, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? Thank you, Call. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Okay, that was good. I am definitely not running drugs. I am an entrepreneur. See, and I'm a successful entrepreneur. I started with $200,000 to my 200,000 UEC to my name, and now I'm at $1 million.
Drugs.
Bugs and fun, but we did it. Were you all playing the PTU, or were you playing the live version?
Drugs.
Just a merchant of goods and services, indeed. You had a Star Citizen Day? Yeah. We were talking about the next lore video I'm doing is on the dark secret of Stanton, which is that there seems to be some evidence that the UEE genocided the original settlers of Stanton because of its value to as a trade route. There is a couple of mentions of people already being here when they first found Stanton, and that they were forced to move or were removed with the help of a Bengal carrier. On top of that, every single of the original outposts we've seen thus far has been destroyed, like completely destroyed. And it's important to remember that these outposts will have only been around for about maybe 100 years. And there's no reason for them to have been destroyed in the state that they are unless there was some sort of attack on them. Which, doesn't necessarily mean that the UEE did it, but there was something that was caused for those settlements to be destroyed consistently throughout. Now, I know we're going to get more outposts that are not destroyed, but the fact that we do have them over this short period of time definitely indicates that something happened. Combined with the knowledge that we know of how forcefully the UEE was enforcing their own the restrictions of settlement and exploitation of the system, with things like the crash at the Flysa is a great example, seems to indicate that the UEE came in, kicked everybody out. If you didn't leave, they'd kill you. And then took it over, and despite there's no need for it. Like, there was no public call for more people to come out to Stanton. They couldn't get people to settle Stanton. So instead, they sold it to the corporations. Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
Yeah, Biggles only been 82 years old.
Ever take away my space game.
Puppy_1775 just resubscribed for 5 months. Can you see those outposts in the game?
Yeah, you can. If you do... Thank you so much for that 5 months as well. If you do these missions right here... Retrieval ops. These will take you to the locations of those. In fact, I'll do one... Let's just do one real quick, because I don't think I've purchased anything yet, so... I'll show you. Let's get over there. Yeah, there were references of people being in Stanton before the UEE discovered it. And the Flysa was a javelin. Now, that is a good point that the Bengal was retconned to not be as old as Stanton has been settled, I believe. but there was still originally referenced as being that a Bengal carrier came in. So it may have not been a Bengal, but it may be a military strike force that came in. It should be close. Yeah, the Javelin's been around for a while. Well, to be fair, the oldest fleet, like the 500-year-old ship, is the Perseus, and it wasn't until very recently, it wasn't in the as part of the fleet. It had been removed from the fleet before that. That was scary. Was so long there for you there, 10. You shouldn't have had any pre-rolls whatsoever. But we're talking about the the dark past of Stanton. I didn't see that, HD. If you're here, you're still here. And hey, Arthur, I don't know why I'm not seeing these on my my other stream. But what company is best fit for a small, affordable taxi ship? Probably RSI or Drake. How you doing, Arthur? You mean before the sun was born, aka the dark past? No. It has a pretty bleak past life. Well, it wasn't just we relied on hardened steel plates, Revan. It's just we also didn't have shields that could be fitted on ships that small because they didn't have enough power to run them. Do you think the Odyssey is better than the Carrack? What do you mean? Like that's a big, broad question. No and yes. It depends on what you want it to do with it. Is the Odyssey a better explorer than the Carrack? Probably not. Is it a better multi-crew, like long expedition ship? Hell yeah. Which one's a better combat ship? I couldn't tell you. Which one's better as a salvage ship? Probably the Odyssey. You know, so on and so forth. No, we had shield tech, Revan. We just didn't have... the shields were only on bigger capital ships. Smaller ships didn't have shields. And they weren't... The shields weren't that good. It was after the Tavaran War, and we captured a bunch of the shields that we were able to make things like air shields and other things like that. Yeah, and that's the other thing, is we don't have the Odyssey, so it's really hard to say that as well. Expedition's a bit different of deep exploration. Well, an expedition is much more of you're going out there to stay. The Carrack doesn't go out to stay, it goes out to explore and continues moving. An expedition means you go out, you set up some initial outposts or camps, and then go out and looking for more stuff, either detailed exploration. Like an expedition ship, you go out for months. An exploration ship, you go out for maybe a couple of days or weeks, and then continue to move. A taxi ship is not really a gameplay in the loop. I mean, it is definitely there, sort of. Can I use what, Arthur? A Valkyrie for trading 318. I believe you can. I believe you can use the Valkyrie because I believe it has a cargo grid. A taxi ship, well, they're not really that gameplay in game. The best right now for something like that is the Pisces Med, so you can watch people, patch people up and give them a ride somewhere. But I mean, it's not really a taxi ship. It's a really small vessel that even the regular Pisces only has 3 seats. But I could definitely see a small shuttle, like going between planets, being a kind of a ship that exists for passenger transport gameplay. There are folks that ask for a ride right now, but any ship can carry passengers. The number of passengers asking for a ride works. Yeah, but you also have to take into account future life support systems. So, like, life support systems will matter, as well as seats will matter. Those sorts of things. I think you can put bigger than a small fighter. I think you can carry a medium ship. It can carry a prospector. I'm sure it can carry a vulture. I don't know if it'll be able to carry a freelancer or cutlass, but it could almost certainly do that as well. We have seen it with a prospector, but I don't know the size difference between a prospector and a vulture and such. Enterprise was not designed to operate in extended periods away from Starfleet. Voyager was, yeah. That's a good difference. I would say the Galaxy is much more like, or not the Galaxy, yeah, that doesn't make sense. The Odyssey is much more like the Enterprise, and the Carrack is much more like the Voyager or the original Enterprise, designed as like deep space exploration. Because the Enterprise D was main role was to like support colonies and you know, that kind of thing. It's huge, massive fucking ship. If you can get a Vanguard in the hangar, then you can almost certainly get a Freelancer or a Cutlass in there, which means you could definitely get a Vulture in there. Talking Enterprise A? Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, but the Voyager is much bigger, or much newer, I should say. All right, so these are all over the Stanton system, for those of you who don't know. I'm recording this probably for that episode as well, just so I can have some B-roll. I'm still pretty far away. You think we'll be able to drive our Carrack around exploring planets like a USS Enterprise, analyzing planets in the medical area, dropping drones and stuff? Yeah, probably. But I don't think you're going to find brand new planets. I think you're going to be searching old planets or planets that are like areas of the Stanton system. You might do areas of microtech, which need to be updated for maps or be analyzed more. Maybe you're looking for specific soil samples or animals that exist in the area or plant matter to pick up and analyze and bring back. That sort of thing. Still on track. Definitely gonna slow down now. Basically, people that need rides in game currently need medical attention as well. No, I get that. But the person who's asking was definitely asking in terms of future gameplay, not necessarily current gameplay. I wonder if one of the unmanned modules, or unnamed modules of the Galaxy is a science one, as there's supposed to be another module outside of the cargo refinery that we already know about. Yeah, it's one of them is we already know is going to be a production module. Like a module that's specifically designed to designed for manufacturing. Get some more footage here. So this is once an outpost that was inhabited by the first settlers of Stanton, sometime probably 100 years ago. These settlers were eventually evicted by the UEE, and they were no longer allowed to live here. Oh, there's definitely a dude. I'm just trying to capture a little bit of footage. All right, time to light the fuck up. Where is this dude? He's over here, right? Yeah. He's dead.
Weapons free, y'all.
He's dead. Where's the box? There's a lot of folks around here. Land here and then see what I can't find.
Landing gear down.
I know there's going to be some.
Landing complete. Engines offline.
Oh, I didn't see what your question was. Astro, so if when the UEE inevitably collapses and splits, how many different factions do you think will be created and will separate them? Terra will probably be part of the Democratic Stellar Union, and Sol would probably belong to the United Independent for Earth. How will it break up? It's hard to tell. There'll definitely be some systems that won't want to go independent, and while, yeah, I don't think the UEE is dying anytime soon, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them collapse in the next... within the players playing the game kind of cycle, within the game's lifetime. Let's see if there's anything here. There's that. There's Aphrodite. But there is no money. There's no relics. The actual thing I care about. Nothing. Whew. Okay. Sometimes you can find relics here. Where's the box? Just had that freaking box. Where did it go? There you go. All right, we're good. Hey, Uriah, how you doing, buddy? For those who don't know, Uriah is the editor who does a lot of stuff for, like, all the shorts you'll see. There's a couple other experimental stuff he's done, as well as the editor for the complete history of Star Citizen lore. So, thank you, Uriah, for that. I'll get you that. Reminds me, I gotta pay you the whole whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It'll be done today. Ask about Paul about his thoughts on the Third Divine War. Yeah, I would think it's more like you lose interest gradually in governing the multiple systems, and more planet systems begin to govern their own affairs. Some sort of interplanetary alliance formed, at least. No, I mean, the original concept of Star Citizen and, like, the whole background was going to be the Roman Empire in space. It's the very basic gist, but the end of the Roman Empire. So the idea that Terra is Constantinople and Sol is Earth, or Sol is Earth, Sol is Rome, and the kind of splitting of the empire and all those sorts of things would happen. It's just going to be a long time. The Vanduls are the Vandal. The Vandals are the Vandul, which is, you know, not subtle. Hey, Mason.
Quantum drive is now off.
I've been under the impression that the player actions intervention will push the UE to fracture or endure. Yes. Almost certainly there will be a fracturing. There will be some sort of civil war, but players will determine the outcome at the end of the civil war. Same with, like, the Vandal sacking Earth. Will they be able to sack Earth or not? You know, that kind of... That will be entirely up to the players. But there will always be a Terra versus Earth debate. Depending on what actually happens out of those results is still up there. But almost certainly there will be a civil war with an attempted split between Terra and Sol. Or between Earth and Terra. Sol and Terra. Am I pro UEE or against? I have a more nuanced view about it. In like, the UEE is a necessary evil. Like, without the UEE, you wouldn't have, you wouldn't be able to control this vast numbers of systems, and you wouldn't be able to deal with threats like the Vandul and the Xi'an. Not necessarily that the Xi'an are a threat, but you know, you always got to keep your eye on other forces, including like Xenothreat and other forces like that, which are absolutely threats to the average person. So without an entity, a strong central entity like the UEE, you wouldn't be able to effectively survive a lot of this, a lot of the turmoil that's going on in the verse right now. But at the same time, the UEE is ineffective. It's corrupt. It has lots of problems that plague it as well. Rough, but any landing you can walk away from, right? Smuggling or snuggling? Yes, snuggling. Totally snuggling. Did I misspell something? Yeah, no, I didn't. That's what we're doing there, noob. How you doing, noob? This is entirely a snuggle fest. Not at all. We're not doing anything illegal. Illegal? No, I'm a legitimate businessman there, noob. Legitimate interest in everything. You know? How dare you accuse me of being a smuggler? But come on over, dude. We'll snuggle up together. Seems the lesser of two evils kind of thing, but not good. But not having it would be worse. Yeah, effectively. Which is more, you know, realistic. It's more nuanced. It's more of a. There's no like overt good guys or bad guys in the verse. That's not what I want to do. I want to turn my freaking headlamp on. But I was just showing off the retrieval op mission because a lot of people didn't realize that there are derelict outposts in Stanton. I was talking about my my theory. I've put a bunch of breadcrumbs together, which seems to indicate that the original inhabitants of Stanton were, let's just say, dealt with fairly harshly. Package missions are working. Now, here's the secret. If it doesn't want to accept it, or you can't pick it up, then what you do is you take your package and you drop it off at a location, doesn't matter where, just a place where you can get back to. You fly about 5 kilometers away and then come back. And when you come back, you should be able to pick up the package once more if you were unable to pick it up before, and then attempt to deliver it. There's a couple of little things I've learned that you can, little tricks and tips that I've picked up that have helped me allow for the package missions to function better. Workarounds, yeah. Because the number one thing I've seen which doesn't work is where your package no longer is pickupable. You can pick it up with like a tractor beam, but you can't actually interact with it physically, which is what you need to do to be able to deliver it. And it's like, oh, well, I'm screwed then. There are ways to get around that. If you can get around with that, you can get around with most of the other ones. All right, so we are at over 1 million. I want to do one more run. Of legitimate hauling, legitimate business venture. Yeah, I gotta get out of the jump to Tressler first. And wipe. Oh, certainly. I know this is good. This is 100%. I am under no illusion that I'm going to be wiped. But I've mostly been just trying to probe around with the best things to purchase and where, and I'll be moving on from here to another location shortly to do the same. My goal is to eventually create kind of a smuggler's guide to 318 for people who are interested in some of like the better routes, good practices, those sorts of things. Earlier in the live server, none of the ASOPs were working at Tressler. I haven't had that problem yet. Sometimes if you see and it looks like it's not working, try talking to it, and sometimes it fixes itself. That's what I found. Because I've seen ones that are just like the weird screen that you look at and go, yeah, it's broken. Try interacting with it, because that may actually reset the I don't know what they did. It may be a background fix that they made that they fixed that. Or I'm secretly on a streamer server, and since streamer servers are better than all the other servers, they actually fix the game and everybody else's servers suck. Because they only care about streamers.
Quantum drive is now off.
Yes, talk to it. Trying to see the ground because this is on a series of mountains in Microtech, and I do not want to crash into them because I almost did once. About 2,000 meters, because the mountain's about 2,000 meters, 2 kilometers high. Later, Red Monster. Thanks for the raid, and thank you for coming in. Enjoy your lunch. For days, only 1 out of 6 work. This morning, none of them would function. Black screen arrowed. Have you tried a different server? Like a different region server? That's another workaround you can try as well. Yeah, we're coming in at... There it is. The lights are fucking useless here. That's probably the biggest gripe I have when it comes to planetary interactions, is that on the dark side of planets, your lights might as well be... You might as well be like a lighter in comparison. You just don't see shit. Shut up, Omega. How long would it take to fly around Microtech? A few hours, like to fly the circumference? Probably. I don't know the full circumference of it, but I know usually if you're flying at the... It also depends on the altitude. If you're flying just at the upper atmosphere, you can fly at the about the max speed you would be able to do in space. So to fly around that, it would probably be a few hours, but you're doing like 1,000 kilometers a minute. Or a second, I should say. Not 1,000 kilometers. 1 kilometer a second, which is pretty fast. Yeah, they definitely need landing lights, or at least like some sort of lights that would illuminate your approach in some way, shape, or form. Let's see what they have.
Drinks all around.
Let's party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. Put your lips together. Blow the candle out. Party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. I wanna make you feel real special. Put your name in lights. We are gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Blow the candle out.
The Noobify 133 just got a sub from Penumbra_Horizon. Penumbra_Horizon gifted a tier 1 sub to the Noobify 1337.
Thanks for gifting that
They
sub
have
to
given
Noob.
31 gift subs in the channel. Penumbra_Horizon just gifted 4 subs.
Thank you so much for gifting those 5 subs total. There, Penumbra, you are a very important pupper. You were all very important puppers, very impressive pisters, very good pedestrians. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. That's more beers in there. That's a heck of an entrance there, Penumbra. How you doing, buddy? Great play. Thanks for the follow. Gotta turn off that alert. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it at the end of the stream tonight, I should say. All right. So this is where we do completely legitimate purchasing, chat. This last run will be my last run, then I'll go buy a 315p and then head to where are we going? I'm going to be going to ArcCorp. So I can, that's probably why I purchased the 315p anyways. To be able to check out the orphanage and see if it still works, if it's working now. You know me, bud. I like to make a grand entrance to show any function. Yes. Yes, you do.
Engines online.
Yeah, ironically, the Origin ships have the least flashy entrances in terms of their lights. Just makes no sense to me. I mean, it's sad when the average redneck has better lights on his $1,000 truck than a multi-million credit spaceship has. I think it's more of they're going to have to go back and do a complete lighting pass with all the ships at some point. But each ship right now is being done individually, so they're individually tuned to be different. So a lighting designer on one ship is not the same as another ship, and they're not the same. They'll have to go back over it and be like, all right, let's make an overall pass to make it a better experience for everyone. That something like that is definitely low on the priority list compared to, I don't know, damage, the damage systems that they want to implement and all that kind of sort of thing. They should look different. They should, but they should also have some consistency. If anything, what they should do is make lights an actual component so that you would be able to swap them out. So you could, have different lighting systems. Because sometimes maybe you want to have a nice, big, bright, hey, here I am, for something like an emergency ship. Like a Cutlass Red should have a lot of lights to be able to illuminate an area for search and rescue purposes. Whereas a ship like the Razor, like the Stealth Razor ship, probably doesn't want to have a lot of lights. Because it doesn't want to be seen. Yeah, the spotlight works, but I'm talking about like something that illuminates the whole area around the ship as well. Like really lights up the bottom. The spotlight's a good addition, but something that kind of like spills out around it. Hey Ash, how you doing? You had to look up what a RAN 1500 was. UK. It's a pickup truck. Art. That's a good question. UK folks, what do you call pickup trucks? Do you call them pickup trucks or do you call them lorries? Because I know a lorry is a truck, kind of slang term for a truck in the UK, but like that's usually for like a big box truck or like an 18-wheeler. Pickup truck. Okay. Hey, Citizener, how you doing? I'm sure there's export versions of the Dodge, but I can't imagine the UK having a ton of need or desire for for a pickup truck outside of the countryside. A lorry is usually like an Arctic with a trailer. A box truck is a box truck. Okay. There is somebody right there. And they're in a Razor. I am out of here. I'm not sticking around for that shit. We're going to ArcCorp earlier. It's one of the major rules of the orphanage. It's definitely got to go to Walla. If you see someone around the area, you have to approach with tremendous caution. But if you're seeing any kind of ship that is nothing to do with trading, get the fuck out. Like a small scout ship, like a Razor or an M50 or anything like that, get the fuck out. Do not, and just run. Run and run and run. Don't try to engage, don't try to fight, because that's how you get into trouble. Nothing irritates me more than having my windshield turn into a mirror at night because someone falling too close to the bright sun. I hate that. Why is it not showing? Is it not showing up in this? Okay. Uri says, I've been getting caught up in Mando and had a thing if the UE had an inner and outer rim system protection. They do, sort of. There's no inner and outer rim sort of situation, but there is core systems and more frontier systems is what they call them. So, for instance, the UEE and or the Sol and Terra are core systems. The Vega is a Vanduul border system, but something like Cathcart is, well, that's not a UEE control. Castra is a frontier system. Same with Hadrian, they're frontier systems. They usually register it based off of safety ratings, and I think it's like safest to least safe. There's a number system, but they haven't used in a while, though, so. The headlights are a pain. Let me see if I can see some of these mentions. Oh, yeah. The headlights are a pain. They always have the thing customizable in the future. I really hope they are, yeah. .315p headlights are decent. Maybe. I love the feeling people who use high beams in the middle of the well-lit city simply because, dude, if your night vision's that bad, maybe you shouldn't be driving. Never fear, Half-Sec is here. How you doing, Half-Sec? That's when I throw across and you go like 20 miles per hour. I wish they get us place markers on the map. The closest we could get to right now is make small fleets with PES right now. I think that's the plan as part of the map updates. So I wouldn't be surprised if when CIG releases the new star map, we see a suite of new additions that are being added with it. Because it seems like that's what CIG wants to do, is instead of just doing piecemeal additions, like, oh, here's the new star map, it'll be like a new star map plus the scanning system, plus a new HUD, plus the new MFDs. Like, they'll all be dropped at the exact same time because they're all connected to each other. In fact, in the future, as of recently, one of the most recent monthly reports, they mentioned they completely removed the star map from Squadron 42. So now instead of accessing the star map through your mobiGlas, you access it through your ship's navigation computers, which is what it should be in the first place. I don't mind having a star map on your like mobiGlas, but that would be makes more sense for something like a planning route sort of thing. How good? How are you? How's your Easter? It's all right. I spent it sleeping in and then helping out the wife around the house every so often, and then doing this. It's been nice and slow though. The Mad Force are waiting for 3.18.2 before we know before we hammer that Xeno threat that's wiping when it goes live. We're definitely going to see Xeno threat go live with 3.18.2, I think. But I mean, you could upload your mobiGlas and then upload it to your nav comp. Yeah, for like planning, I think something like that could happen. But I think the goal for at least the initial release is to remove the star map entirely from your mobiGlas and put it onto the computer, to your navigation computer on your computers, on your ships. YouTube chat has mostly lurkers. Yeah, I've noticed that generally speaking, YouTube isn't very interested in watching me do content like this. They're much more interested in watching me do the office hours or Captain's Table, which, you know, makes sense. It's the content that they're used to. Twitch is much more open to this sort of content. But I also know that, like, Tomato has more has tons of folks who like to watch him play, but he's also been doing that for longer, and people know he does that. So I have to just be more consistent and that sort of thing. I normally would only be doing it on Twitch, but people ask me to start doing it on YouTube as well because they prefer YouTube than Twitch. But not a lot of those people are always here, so. I also think it's demographic. Well, it's a lot of things. It's the algorithm, the kinds of people who follow me for content don't follow me for gameplay content. They follow me for news and updates and, for my other thing, for lore. So the actual gameplay itself isn't really a vibe with the algorithm right now. People on YouTube tend to listen to podcasts and such at work. Yeah, I tend to use that too. I mean, what I've tended to do is I've tended to take the I think it showed a bunch of stuff in my guide. I tended to take the what I enjoy for me when I watch YouTube, and then try to emulate that with my own content. And I think it's mostly been successful. But generally speaking, I don't I don't watch live streams on YouTube, so that makes sense. Don't forget sex appeal. They follow that too. Of course they fall for the sex appeal, but not, you know, everyone loves Lord Daddy, all right? Just look at this. I mean, you may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. I used to Twitch, but forgot my. I used to use Twitch, but forgot my password. Yeah. I got the strangest comment. I posted on Twitter, but I had the strangest comment. One of the strangest. I'd say the strangest. One of the strangest comments I've had on a video. Somebody commented. It's positive, but they were like, some random dude dropped this on Spectrum, so I watched it, and you're kind of dry, but I gave you a like and a subscribe, and then subscribed because you do a lot of, that's a lot of information that you did for a lot of that research for. Also, you're close to 20K now. It was like, thank you. All of that, by the way, was broken up by ellipses. It was like, some random dude dropped this on Spectrum, ... It's kind of dry, ... But I gave you a like and a subscribe anyway, ... For all the work you did, ... Yeah, that's the question. Was like, was that a compliment or a backhanded insult? Thank you. It's not even in voice direction. It's the editing. It's pretty straightforward, you know. I could definitely make it a lot more intriguing with editing, but it would take me twice as long to do all that editing work. This is PU, yeah. For now, that in more time we'll watch YouTube. Not everyone is in the alarms, into the alarms popping up. Yeah. Damning by faint praise? I don't know. They did say that they liked the video and they subscribed, so it's like, hi.
Quantum drive is now off.
Okay. Good Times Temple, Lost and Found. Do not want to go there because I don't want to freaking die. Processing Center, ArcCorp Mining. Yeah, Simpsons and Sons. There we go. Let's double check to make sure I don't die.
Quantum drive is now on.
As always, as typical, it seems like a lot of people are around Crusader. So the orphanage is on Lyria. Yes, that's why I'm going to set up here towards the end of the stream. Because I want to purchase 315p and then see if the orphanage run works. And I'm just trying to suss out the general value that you get, because I think it's different. And I've noticed that the price has changed already a little bit between every location. Some people think that a comment or a chat in a single sentence format, or maybe they felt that it would be saying was all a long connected statement. Maybe they thought the process was long unending stream of consciousness feed. IRL conversations that seem to be interesting. I see the style as the detailed long form, no BS style, aka infotainment. Maybe that video didn't have enough explosions for them. Well, there's nothing wrong with it. I kind of get what they mean by dry. It was pretty straightforward. I'm not doing a lot of flourish. I'm not adding a lot of editing techniques and such like that. You know, I could definitely use to do some of those things. I just need to learn them, A, and then have time for them, B. People really aren't taught where to use commas and ellipses. I disagree, but that's because I'm a teacher. I teach my kids how to do it, and all the English teachers at my school do. Now, this is always scary as shit, because when you see all of these empty white ships, it usually means that someone's killed a bunch of people here. But here's another tip. The comm array is on. So it's unlikely that someone is going to be doing piracy out here, because they would light up like a Christmas tree to any bounty hunters that are looking for them. So, and there's not a lot of active ships around here. There's only a couple. They most of these ships probably were ships that were lost during a 30K, because they persist still, but they're there. These are all just little smuggling tips for you, for free. I'm gonna park this here. Normally go a little closer, but there's a lot of debris everywhere.
Landing complete. Engines offline.
Yeah, 30K our client crash. I mean, a lot of these ships have already been salvaged. I think there's probably a cleanup feature that's on the servers right now. Double check to make sure my helmet's on. It is. We're good. You see, like, a bunch of these things have been stripped, which means that they've already been salvaged. I think when ships are at the salvaged state, there's probably a cleanup feature that kind of cleans up what's left over. That's the same as it was at the other location, so it's not too bad. Widow is slightly more valuable here. And by that I mean like by 50K. ETAM is it's slightly more valuable. It's about 25K instead of 23K, so about an additional 200 or something like that. This is the same. We're solid. Non-ghost. Yeah, see, that's been my experience. Is that the orphanage kiosk is broken. I think it's broken for the entire game, but I wanted to double check as well. But I'm here to buy the 315p anyways because I think it's here, so I got to go down here anyways. I wonder if an A2 bomb would clear out the ships. It might.
Engines online.
Honestly, I can't wait until they actually make it so that when you 30K, you can come back into your ship where you last were left. Because that'll make it a little bit better. Because we won't see as many abandoned ships flying everywhere. It's cool, but it'd be cooler if you saw that. Jump round problems require jump down solutions. Half-Sack, you ain't able to get those to work? I've been able to get them okay. I've never seen a too buggy of the salvage kiosks. All right, so now we're going to head down to Area 18. Bajini Point. The eternal balancing act of the game developer, realism versus fun. I don't think it's too hard for this. It's for that kind of thing. The reason why we see so many ships flying around or like laying around is because of a game feature that's not added yet. I don't think that has a lot to do with realism versus fun. And I think you see a lot more people be happy to be able to recover from a 30K loss than they would be for for anything else. Really a realism thing, but yeah, that is definitely true about it. Area 11, Area 20. Where the F is Area 18 then? There it is. I think I'll just wait till 4.0. The game is fun, been really buggy between the server instability and relentless wipes, although needed. Doesn't seem to justify the hours of grinding of rep and such. Yeah, I mean, that's entirely your call. I would say 3.19 would be a good one to jump back in on, because I don't anticipate 4.0 coming out until March of next year, so that gives you about a year of enjoying the game.
Quantum drive is now off.
Yeah, you might be waiting quite a long time for 4.0. Oh. You had to melt it to get a 400i, but now I'm getting the 315p again. Just get it in game, Half-Sack. It's not that expensive. I mean, it's 800,000 UAC, but in the long and short of it, it's not that's not a lot of money if you're playing the game pretty frequently, especially if you already have a 400. Well, from the store, you are able to get the customized version of it, yes, but that still costs you more money as well.
Thank you.
My feeling is 4.0 is years away still, unless CIG is going to surprise us. I think we're going to get 3XX for a while. I still think CIG still plans on having 4.0 that this year. I don't think we're going to see it this year, but I'm fairly certain we'll see it in the PTU with a 4.0 release next year around March or so. Hey, Tosin.
Warning, you are leaving the safe zone.
Well, can I get a frickin' landing zone?
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Where? There we go.
landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
All right, let's refill her up. Then we'll head out. They had too much flack, and there's too much, many more subsystems online now compared to when they first started. When they first started, tried 2 to 3 years ago. Yeah, I think CIG is going to have, come hell or high water, no matter how bad the release is, 4.0 by PTU at least by this year. Wave 1 PTU. But it's really hard to tell, because we do know that CIG still needs to do some back-end work from PES to add more functionality to PES. And we likely know it's not going to be in 3.19, which is coming out in June, which means we have 3.20, which will come out anytime between August and after CitizenCon. And CitizenCon does actually delay development. It does delay development often significantly, because you'll have to pull developers away from what they were doing to do something different. All right. Entirely set up, good to go. Whenever we see the decoupling of the replication layer, it will give us an indication of how things are going. That's a good way of putting it. If we can see them doing that by 3.19, that would be a big deal. But I don't anticipate that until at the earliest 3.20. Looking to watching the Captain's Table topic this week, it would seem juicy. It definitely got some passions up. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's totally normal.
Welcome to the ASOP,
especially during the Q&A sessions. But generally speaking, it was pretty good.
Thank you for visiting our core.
I'll give you the briefest insight into it, which is that we came to the conclusion that wipes, while are necessary, and the issue with wipes is less to do with CIG and like because wipes, they're going to happen. And more had to do with CIG's communication ability, talking to players about things like wipes. And that the lack of availability of communication for things like, on things like the game itself, on the launcher, a lack of cohesive combined information for updates, and relying heavily on content creators to do that job for them is what's probably hurt them most. Mentioning things like, for instance, when 3.18 first went live, Tyler, before they went live, Tyler went on to, Captain Silo went on to onto Spectrum and said, hey, it's going to be a rough launch. Like, we know it's going to be rough. We know there's still issues, but we're just going to launch just because it's important for us to launch. And there are people who genuinely didn't hear that and got pissed off at how bad it was. And the answer was, the reason why they got pissed off was because there was nothing that indicated it was going to be a rough launch except for Xylo's comment. So if they had something in the launcher as part of it, or some other way of telling people who don't follow the development and just play the game, hey, this is what the situation is, then it would be a little better for most people. Okay, that was weird. Yeah, but not everyone follows Chris's comments.
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
Yeah, people don't use Spectrum. You think CIG is going to give something for 3.18 being difficult? No, probably not. I really hope not either. I already have too much garbage. Gunboat STUV. I don't know what you're saying, CD. That's a shirt. That's just another thing to add to the pile, though, of junk that we'll never use. Eyeball, do you think the Lynx is going to come in different versions, like medical military? No, I think we'll see just a different version of, like a different variant of it with the military. But I think the Lynx is its own. Like we'll see the Ursa, the Lynx, and then we might see like the Bobcat or like the Mountain Lion or something like that. Some other like 3 to 4 letter or 4 letter name for an animal that's like more violent. All right, let's see if we can purchase it here. All right, so we're gonna go with Origin. Where's Origin? Consolidate Outland, Banu, Poa, Origin right down here. 315p. Well, final balance, perfect. Exactly what I needed. Confirm purchase. Got it. And there we got it. 315p. Let's take a look at her. The Puma. There we go. Perfect. Puma would be hilarious too, because it could also be a reference to Red versus Blue almost. All right. So this is what I mean by like a bunch of garbage that I never use. I'll pick it up, chat. I'll pick it up. I pick it up. I can already hear you. It's more like a Puma. Yeah. Because the Ursa is actually based off of a marine vehicle known as the, oh gosh. There's a name for it. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's in its lore that it's based off a marine vehicle. There, I threw it away, chat. You happy? It's not a Puma. Goat. Goat would be great, too. I don't think I have anything to sell there. That dude moved to run into me. Jerk. Not gonna lie, I want to be able to fly to the Marine Planet and get deleted by the fleet there. You're not the only one. I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to do that. I can see a utility vehicle named the Goat. Yeah, for sure. But I don't think that would be something for like military version. They already have the Mule, so you can't really use the Mule. I'm upset that the white and blue subflare skins don't have the Gladius skin. I'm surprised they don't. Captain America, I understood that reference. That one's busted. This one's working. I'm gonna sell everything I have that I can sell. Oh, those are fine. There we go. All that is sold. Yeah, at about 1,000. It's not bad. It says Marine Combat Vehicle. There's some acronym for it. I'll look it up real quick. RSI is proud to unveil the RSI Ursa, based off the Rapid Deployment Vehicle, developed for the UE Marines. So it's called the Rapid Deployment Vehicle, or the RDV, the Marine RDV. Which again, Puma would work well for the RDV. Yeah, it probably was Xenothreat. Presumably just an up-armored military version of the Ursa. Probably. Though that's old lore, so I'm assuming that... And they like to try to incorporate old lore as much as they can. That's why we have, like, for instance, the Ares, which was effectively the replacement for the bounty hunting version of the... the variant of... What is it called? What was it called? Oh, the Genesis, so.
Waiting passengers should be mindful of the platform's edge. Strong winds can arise suddenly.
Brother, you probably want something more than your nightgown to protect you from the vacuum space. A bit off topic, do you think Twitter's going to survive? It might, but it's probably not going to be in the same position it is now. I know I'm getting off it as soon as I possibly can. I've just got one more possible kind of requirement to use it, so. Okay, good. Oof. So am I falling? Am I falling? Am I dead? So Genesis with the size 7 duct tape to the side? Yeah. It was called the Star Hunter. The Genesis Star Hunter was what it was called. Paul, go see the Sexy Little Things. Yes, the 315. That's my goal. Hey, Nubsley, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for that link, by the way. That's interesting. I'm a big fan of preservation, especially historical stuff. The idea of finding the original recording of the Wilhelm scream is pretty nice. Totally normal. Those are totally normal ships flying in totally normal ways. This is what I mean by like like when they say, "Oh yeah, no, Area 18's fine." Is it? Is it CIG? I think you're the one who introduced me to the fact that Wilhelm scream was a specific thing. Yeah, from Private Wilhelm in, I can't remember the name of it. It was a famous Western movie. But it was like, before it became a meme, it was just an inside joke that a bunch of sound designers would add it to movies that they were a part of. And then eventually it became popular because...
Please visit us again.
Fix these for people.
Proud to bring the universe closer together.
Please visit us again.
See, this is what I've been doing at ASOP terminals. I've been fixing them.
Please visit us again. Goodbye. Please visit us again. Goodbye. Please visit
I fixed all of the ASOP terminals for you. You're welcome.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
For the latest travel information, be sure to check the departure and arrival boards, conveniently located throughout the spaceport.
It's Beam Citizen. The transit tunnels move the ship along with powerful tractor fields.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
From transforming
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Our Corp is proud to bring the universe closer together. Our Corp, investing in tomorrow's future.
Please visit us again.
Hangar 3. Paul, lore question. Are cigarettes and drugs we know today still useful in Star Citizen? They may be, though they're probably got a different name to them. For a lot of people don't realize that, like, even in our own time, like, illegal drugs and like mind-altering substances have had different names throughout history. Even though we call them a specific thing here, they have different, like, nicknames and so on and so forth. So, as far as I know, none of the drugs that exist in the Star Citizen universe right now are analogs to actual drugs. There you go. Welcome to the new ship, baby. Go. It's all fancy for drug smuggling, but, you know, I'll take it. Oh, let me also show you all this. Open door, real quick. So this is what I mean by it has more cargo capacity. Let's click a button here, right? See, it has double the cargo capacity in terms of these cargo bays. You tell me I can't go to CitizenCon and buy 12 SCU of Widow IRL? No. Luckily, acid is just LSD 25. Well, some of those newer drugs, especially designer like created drugs, haven't been around long enough to have different names. Coffee, it does still exist, but they call them stims now. It's been 1,000 years, or almost 1,000 years, yeah. And we also got to remember that in the Star Citizen universe,
Origin jumpworks at your service. Core system operational.
you're dealing with a very different. You have access to alien materials and alien biologies, which may have different effects on the human psyche or have more specific things. So what I'm saying is that the universe may lack the common modern narcotics and other illicit substances or mind-altering substances which exist in modern day, but that's because they have better versions of them that exist in the universe. They're more effective, more potent, you name it. Look how fast this thing picks up. Oh, a 30K. Wow. It's been a while since I got a 30K.
Them biddies.
Give them biddies. UK dude. I've been streaming for almost 4 hours, so I'm gonna call it there. It's a good time. 130K and like over 3 hours worth of gameplay is not bad. What's the Star Citizen's equivalent of Spacepot? Widow would probably be closest. The Widow is not smoked. Maybe ETAM. Slam is so ETAM is a study drug. It's kind of like Ritalin, but it's like you kind of boil it into a tea. It's actually a Xi'an drug, and it's actually somewhat legal in some places. But it helps you focus. Neon is kind of like ecstasy. It's sort of this like a heightened Widow. You inject, and it creates these spider-like black veins. Like the Widow actually stains your veins black, which creates a kind of like a spider webs on your body, and that's why it's called Widow. But it has similar effects to weed, to marijuana. Though it's a little bit more heroin than marijuana, but I think it's a little bit, it's kind of in between the two. And then Slam and Maze are, I don't know exactly. I think they have more of like a heroin or cocaine aspects or more that sort of thing. 07 Happy Easter all, yeah. They're not direct. They're kind of slightly different. You had 2 in a row, just stop playing? No, that sucks. Sometimes, as I always say, sometimes you play Star Citizen, and sometimes Star Citizen plays you. It's been nice to not have Star Citizen play me for a while recently, so... Thank you again for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday with Pub and Plays Wednesday. If you want to see me play a game that's not Star Citizen, to try to explore a little bit more, especially if I'm playing with viewers and other people, come join me on Wednesday with me and Loken playing. I think we're going to play Barotrauma again this week. But we've played Deep Rock Galactic, Barotrauma. We'll be playing some Dark Tide, a bunch of different co-op and science fiction, sci-fi games. Just hang out and have a good time. So come join us there. And Thursday will be another office hours. Friday, I might take Friday off this week because I'm trying to do another lore video to release on Saturday, and I don't have a lot of time between all this stuff, so we'll see. But then Saturday, I haven't gotten a captain's table crew yet for Saturday, so we'll see about Saturday as well. And of course, Sunday we'll be back doing this. So thank you all for hanging out with us. If you missed our office hours on Thursday, the monthly report for Star Citizen will be up on Wednesday on the YouTube channel. So that's just it's like a 40-50 minute, just the discussions, just the clip out of the monthly report. It's a pretty big one. Things like refining being added to the roadmap and a bunch of other stuff too, which are pretty cool. So check that one out. Then on Thursday, we'll be doing the Squadron 42 monthly report as well. So join for that. And lastly, the discussion section, the podcast format of the latest Captain's Table will be out tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon on the YouTube as well. Thank you again, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.